Thank you, Victoria, for coming on the show. Follow the money. Victoria Seaman, everyone. And please, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I want to jump right in because this is a special moment. And I haven't had someone deep embedded in politics as you. So I want to pick your brain on all the things that are happening out there with our country. So if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm really excited because, as you know, I resigned my seat as a city councilwoman because I got a presidential appointment to HHS to work under Secretary Kennedy. And I could not be more pleased because what we're seeing is changing people's lives in the affordability, what we're putting into our bodies, how they have finally come out and talked about the foods and the chemicals that are killing us. And so I'm grateful for this administration. I'm grateful. I pinch myself every day and say I am fortunate to work with a great group of people that don't have to be where they are, but they're doing it because they care about the American people.
Fantastic. That sounds like a huge undergoing.
Yeah.
And I want to know more about it. First off, you served as city councilwoman.
Correct.
And now you hold a role at the regional director's office of the secretary. What was the biggest mindset shift that you had to make moving from local government to a regional scope?
So in local government, as a city councilwoman, I got to get things done really quickly, and I was more of a leader of making those decisions. So the kind of mind shift is that I'm in a role working for an administration that is probably working at warp speed like a local government. I've never seen federal government work this quickly. And so I am pleased, but I'm not in the role to make those decisions. My role is more intergovernmental, where I advocate the policies and I am that liaison. So that was a big change for me, but in the sense that I watch this administration work as quickly as they do and care so much about the American people, it is an honor to be that liaison. But that was a big shift for me.
That is interesting. You know, I wonder where we're going in the next 5 years when it comes to what you just spoke about. I'm curious.
Yeah, well, I think what you're seeing is just a culture and a mind shift in the way things are done. The affordability, we've seen gas go down. We've seen, talking about the administration as a whole, we've seen a president who made promises and he's keeping them. And you just kind of have to ignore the noise of the minority out there. But he is doing exactly what he promised to do. Crime is down. Washington, D.C., people can walk in the streets. But getting back to my role at HHS, what they're doing to save lives for the American people, we've had 50% of children that by the time they're adults have a chronic disease. 74% of Americans have chronic diseases. Our food isn't even allowed in most countries because of the chemicals and the ingredients in our foods. And so you have a secretary that really cares about making America healthy again. I mean, they are doing everything they can to really have the courage to come out and do this. And in my lifetime, I have never seen an administration that came out and had the courage to talk about how bad our food is and how sick Americans are.
How do you balance public opinion, data, and your own conviction when dealing with these issues?
Well, again, that's when I was a councilwoman, I dealt with it in. I had to deal with all three of them. I had to deal with kind of like what this administration is doing. Mm-hmm. There's people's opinions, there's my opinion, and then there's what's right. And you look at the data and you look at all of that, the statistics, the data, the real numbers about what's happening. And you can see that this administration is looking at all that and saying, sometimes it doesn't matter what some opinion is, it's doing what's right and what we see in the data. And as a councilwoman, I think I did the same thing. And that's kind of why I wouldn't be able to work for an administration that I didn't believe in. And I strongly believe in everything that they're doing.
Well said. I feel inspired right now with everything that's happening. It's an ongoing battle, isn't it?
It is an ongoing battle for them. They're working very hard, and it does. I think they're to work at that warp speed, you just got to stay focused. And meeting with all of the directors when I was there and hearing their stories of they didn't have to be there, but they're doing it because they have a passion for the American people, really inspired me more in my role with them. That I'm doing this because I really care as well and believing in what they're doing. And, when this administration began, they didn't waste any time bringing down prices, making things more affordable. They didn't waste any time in listening to what the people needed and wanted. And when I meet with people in my job role and they, say, well, this is happening, and, I know that this administration already knows that because I believe they're in tune to what's happening and they're making the changes quickly.
Public service is constant. Accountability is extremely visible. How do you manage personal criticism and staying focused with the long-term outcome?
I'm going to tell you something really funny. I did a panel with President Trump in 2020, a roundtable with business people, a Hispanic roundtable. And I remember telling him that every time I get discouraged about all the negativity and the criticisms, my husband always tells me, look what President Trump has gone through. And he liked that. He said, your husband's a good man, for reminding me. There's always going to be criticism. You have to, and I think personally, being in politics, the more they did it and the longer they did it, I got immune to it. Mm-hmm. The haters are going to hate. You just have to stay focused. I mean, you really have to stay focused in what you're doing. And when you see the outcomes of what this administration is doing, some of the things that I have done in city council, when you see the outcomes, it really doesn't matter. The majority of are silent. It's those criticisms that are going to be the loudest in the room. But I believe that the people, there's a silent majority of know that you have their back and you're doing the right thing. I constantly run into people while I'm here in Las Vegas that'll thank me for the service that I did here. And so I'm grateful that we are all just kind of moving forward and focused on the outcomes.
There's often let me put it a different way. There's often tension between the politically strategic and practically effective way of doing things, right? How do you navigate in a space without losing integrity?
Well, I'm a strong believer, and that's where I get my strength from. I have my own convictions, and for that reason, it can't sway me. And I think that the only reason I was in politics is because it was my calling. I was a businesswoman for many years, and when I was older, I was led into politics and took that journey. And the only way I was able to do it was my relationship with God and the strength. Sometimes you just got to put on the armor and walk out there and know that you're going to be attacked. But I think it's really important for believers to do that when they get involved with politics, because we're all going to be criticized and nobody's going to be 100% happy. But I stay with my true beliefs and my true convictions, and I do not sway from them.
Sabko, you are talking about annuities, infinite banking,
yes,
blah,
sir.
blah, 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 blah. And the question is this: if I have an account, if I have all my money in the market, why I would need an annuity or an IUL?
Well, it's a safer bet. what happens is that your money is safe, secure, and guaranteed because the insurance company is guaranteeing it, right? So you are giving your faith and confidence that the insurance company is going to protect your money and you're going to have guaranteed income growth.
Okay, but I have the market. The market gives me...
Well, the market is volatile, right? It goes up and down like a wave, if you will. You don't have that wave when it comes to annuities and IUL, right? You have a floor and a cap. So you are not subject to the volatility of the market.
So, okay, let's play black and white. Do I put all my money in annuities? All my money in the market? What do I do?
I wouldn't put all your money in anything. You never want to put all your money in one basket.
Why?
You want to, because you want to be versatile, right? For the most part, you want to put your money in an annuity, protect yourself with an IUL, plant some of your money into a money market, and that way it is balanced, well allocated to the point where if one fails, the other ones are still producing.
Let's say something like 2008, 9, 2020 in the market. How an annuity can protect me?
Well, you won't lose any money with the insurance company because they have a floor, right? They have a floor and a cap again. So,
and if I need money to take, if I need to take money and the market is down,
well, you can say for instance the IUL, you can take a loan out on it, right? And if you have an annuity, you have to have an adjusted time where you can set a income schedule. So that's up to you and your broker, if you will, but you can establish that.
So you see, my friends, the idea of having investments, annuities, IULs, they are interlocking parts of a strategy of investing in general, eventually retiring. He's my friend, my colleague, Sabko. Just call him. He knows what he's talking about.
Thank you, Armando.
Pleasure.
I'm a big energy and higher power believer, and so it resonates with me what you're saying. Without it, how far can you really go?
I don't think you can go anywhere.
Yeah, you're kind of at a point where you can only go the space of your capability in your mind, right? When you have that higher power that you can take more energy from, right? The source, if you will, God, universe, Buddha, all the different religions out there, right? When you're able to do that and connect with it and alchemize it, it's a beautiful thing. And you share that with other people, it's very rewarding.
100%.
100%. From your vantage point now, what do you believe are the most critical factors of sustainable regional growth, especially in today's economic climate?
Well, I think we have to continue to do the things that we're doing in this administration. We've seen that the economy was pretty much stifled. We went through a big epidemic with COVID, and we've learned a lot of great lessons. And we know that it's very important that we make the right decisions when it comes to policy, because policy can either stifle or it can encourage, And so I really believe that we need to continue growing as a country economically. And sometimes we have to make decisions that might hurt a little for a minute, but in the long run, we have to support people. We have to support businesses. We have to put health before economics when it comes to medicine. In everything that we do, we have to make smart choices. We can't make political choices that make a small percentage of the people happy. We have to make the right decisions, even if they're not popular sometimes.
That's right. Everybody has to do their part.
That's right.
Right. And if you think about the greater good for the whole, then, ultimately we'll come up with something that's, sustainable, digestible, that everyone can use.
And as we can see how policy makes a difference, we see what this country went through over the last 4, 5, 6 years. And now we see a president that came in and is listening and is trying to make the right decisions, putting America first. And I think that it's important. We all are sovereign countries that have borders. And I think for a long time, we were not, people that were making decisions weren't putting the country they were representing first. And I know this administration is in every way, not just for the economy, but for health. And so we have to move forward and look at those policies and see what they're doing. And we have to continue with those policies.
Absolutely. Public service can be draining. What principles and routines keep you grounded and energized so you can keep leading in an effective way?
Well, the principles are, as I explained earlier, is my relationship with God and being a believer. Those are the principles that I follow, and they keep me grounded. Some of the other things I do is I kind of in the past had let my health go when I was campaigning and forgot about taking care of myself. And so now I'm very disciplined in that no matter what, I need to take care of my health. And it helps working with HHS because every day you hear about wonderful things that they're doing to help us as the American people. And so I make sure that I get my Pilates in, I make sure that I eat healthy, and I make sure that spiritually I'm, continuing to make sure I have time for my relationship with God.
Right on. Well, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
I might add, you can tell that's working. The Pilates, eating well. Do you have like a nutrition program in the whole?
Well, I love that they flip the chart. HHS, we flip the chart. I mean, eating real
The
food.
nutritional scale,
is
the pyramid?
so important, right? Don't put the chemicals in our body.
Yeah.
I'm a true believer in what Secretary Kennedy is doing. That's why I'm grateful to be working under this administration because they are making America healthy again, and just flipping the food chart was huge.
So we're because I know all about the food chart, the pyramid, if you will. On the bottom scale there was a lot of carbohydrates being. We were told to eat it, if you will.
We were told to eat it, and it isn't just eating the carbohydrates that weren't good or putting them as a priority,
right?
Instead of having protein at every meal, but we were also allowed. These companies were allowed to poison us with so many chemicals that, as I mentioned earlier, weren't allowed in other countries. And thank God President Trump put Secretary Kennedy in the position that he's in, because he wasn't afraid to come out and go after everyone with the dyes, with the chemicals. It was killing us. I don't know if you saw Mike Tyson's commercial at the Super Bowl. But he talked about his sister dying at a very young age from eating badly. And the food is killing us. And so, everyone should be so grateful to this administration because they care. They put health over economics.
Right.
And I'm very proud of the administration, and it's an honor to work with them because of all the good that they're doing. And it's going to save future generations of children.
Trump is he's a real commander-in-chief.
He sure is.
He comes in and he get everything in order. Everybody gets in line, and if people are not doing what they're supposed to do and not in the right position, right, or they're doing something,
he takes care
not so
of it.
ethical, if you will, yeah, he takes care of it.
He's not there to be popular. He's there to do the right thing, but that makes him popular.
Exactly.
Because he's doing the right thing. I always said that as a city councilwoman when I was in the city council was, I'm not here to be popular amongst my colleagues. I'm here to do the right thing. And believe me, my colleagues did not favor me, but the people did. And that is how I see President Trump. Secretary Kennedy, very popular amongst the American people. And once again, I can't praise them enough because I know what they're doing.
Right.
And I'm spreading that word because it is so important. Again, to just take those positions and do the right thing. How many secretaries, how many presidents have we gone through where no one talked about the food that was killing us?
Oh, yeah.
No one.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody. And this administration, it's like I said, future generations. We are saving generations of children from, dying at a young age or having a chronic disease. And it's a lot of money on the taxpayer as well, And so, again, I can't say enough.
For a young professional that's called to public service, what advice would you give them if they feel hesitant to, answer to the call?
I think they need to get some life experience. You see too many kids getting out of college and being indoctrinated, and then they're like, I think I'm going to run for senator. And some of them win, and they don't know anything about life. And, I believe, when I first got elected, I had been a businesswoman for over 23 years, and I had a lot of life experience. I was older. I'm not saying that you should all wait till you're as old as I was when I got involved with politics. I don't. But what I do say is have some life experience, buy a house, understand what people go through with life experiences because, when you're indoctrinated, a lot of things sound good, but there's no practicality to it. There's no experience to it. When I was in office and with all the experience that I had, I still didn't know everything. I knew about business, but there were a lot of issues I didn't know about. And the important thing to me was to hear all sides of it. Like I would let lobbyists come in and give me both sides of it and then take my life experience. And then, after pondering about it, I would make that decision whether I was going to support something or not. I didn't let the influence of who was coming in my office. It was give me the stats, give me the data, tell me both sides. And I think that's the advice I would give a young person who would like to run for office is ask yourself the question, do I have any life experience? Do I understand what a small business has to go through? Or do I understand what it's like to buy a house or raise a family? Because those are the issues that are important. And you don't have to start a business and then run for office, but you can maybe go out and talk to people about the struggles that they've had. The small businesses are the bread and butter of our economy, and the struggles are real, as you know, as I know. And you don't always become successful the first time you do it. I didn't. You probably didn't.
Oh, no.
You must fail before you can succeed. And I'm really grateful that I had that experience when I got involved with politics.
That's beautiful. You have to qualify, right? So you have to go through life experiences and understand the trials and tribulations and push through it. And
however, a lot of people get elected without qualifying.
Their name, right?
Name, you get the money, you get the name. But I just really think in order to be a good public servant, I hate the word politician, to be a good public servant, you really have to understand what you're getting into and have some life experience.
And with that being said, thank you, Victoria, for coming on to the show. And I look forward to the next time. We can go a little bit deeper into what you're doing in the administration and, how you're helping people.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Amazing.